All right, y'all. So we are back. Thank you for joining me today. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and our Heavenly King, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Thank you all for joining me today. So this is part two of The Map and the Legend, a detective's hunt for the wicked and the proud. You, me, we are the detectives. We are scriptural detectives. We're combing through all the evidence, all right, in the scriptures to see what the evidence reveals. What does it tell us? All right. So we are uncovering the wicked and the proud according to the Bible, not according to man's feelings. So we have to sift through the scriptures and follow the clues. All right. So again, we're on part two. If you haven't seen part one, I suggest you start there first. All right, so we are going to begin. All right, this one is going to be about going through clue cluster number two. We went through clue cluster number one. Say that 10 times fast in the first video. All right, so in this one, we're going to go into the daughter of Babylon. All right, the great city. Okay. So, this goes into, world commerce and sorcery and slave trade, and all of these things are interwoven, intertwined, interconnected. All right. So let's begin with Isaiah 47. All right. So Isaiah 47. And we're going to read the whole chapter because it says lament for Babylon. And if you watched the previous video, part one, you know that the daughter of Babylon reference is a reference to um, modern Babylon in our time. All right. And spoiler alert, modern Babylon in our time, the seat of it is the United States of America. Now it extends. It's not just the United States of America, but the Most High, he deals with the head. This is how he does. He deals with kings from king to king. He deals with kings. He deals with the head. Okay. As any king should. All right. So when he addresses Babylon, and we say that the daughter of Babylon is the United States of America, don't think for any second that all the other nations that were its cohorts are somehow disconnected from what we're talking about. No, they're included. It's just that, again, like Yahweh Shai is our head and we are his body, these certain people, this certain family, these certain people, they are the head, and then everyone else with them, the other heathens, are their body. And when you address a person, you don't go and you look at their feet and you address their toes and their fingers and so forth. You look at them in their face and you speak to their face. So the Most High is speaking to and about the face of wickedness. But wickedness doesn't end with them. Again, that's why they're called the border of wickedness. But let's continue. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Come down. He's telling them, come down from your high seat, get off your high horse. And he's telling them to come down because he's going to pull them down. All right. And sit in the dust, meaning in low places. They're going to be lowly. They're not going to be well to do the way they are now. All right, we're not going to be vexed anymore with their filthy conversation and all their wickedness. Seeing these people run amok and just enjoy life while we have to be on the bottom and can't afford this and can't afford that and aren't able to do the things that they are able to do. This is the Most High. He stirred up jealousy within us, rightfully so. To make us uh, see and understand our error in going astray from him, because none of this would be the case if we had just been obedient. All right. Sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne. They're going to lose their kingdom. O daughter of the Chaldeans, O thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. All right, like a virgin, tender and delicate, untouched. Because militarily wise and as a nation, this nation has never suffered, war on its own soil from a foreign um, occupying force, from a foreign invader. They have plenty of experience with going to other nations, to other countries, and warring against them in their land, in their backyards. But it hasn't happened here, and that's going to come to an end. No more shall they be called tender and delicate. And so, if you know how to read the scriptures, if you understand the legend, the key that America, the United States of America, is the daughter of Babylon, then you know who this is talking to and about. But if you don't know, if you don't have the key, the legend that lets you know that the virgin daughter of Babylon is Edom, which by proxy you would know that it is the United States of America, then you wouldn't have any idea who this prophecy was talking about. You would think that this prophecy was already fulfilled, which is not so. So then you would be in error and you would be clueless and you would be lacking wisdom. Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. Yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. See, he's not coming back as the lamb. He's coming back as God. All right? Our conquering king. That's how he's coming. Waging war. Thy nakedness shall be uncovered. He didn't lie. Look at him. We're watching that right now. Through social media, we are all able to share and see all manner of videos be shown, whether it be about their criminality, all right, about, anything that they would desire to keep hidden, like, their poverty, their their filthiness. All right, we're able to see it. They can no longer just make claims about us, our people, being the scum of the earth, being the most violent, being, we're committing all the crimes, and they're just amazing and shining. They used to be able to say that and be believed, but they can't just say it, and they just can't be believed anymore because we know the truth. We have been able to uncover and dig up so many truths in the earth that they tried to hide in order to keep their secrets and their shameful glory, all right, their shameful glory um hidden and covered up. All right, real history is being brought out all throughout social media, all throughout the web, all the time, and they can't put the genie back in the bottle, so to speak. So we all get to see, we all get to hear, and they got to contend with it now, right? He said he's going to take vengeance and he won't meet them as a man. As for our Redeemer, the Lord of hosts, Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent and get thee into darkness. He says, shut the hell up. I'm tired of you talking. This is where he is right now. He's had enough of these people. He's tired of listening to them. He's tired of watching them. All right? Their opportunity to just run amok, it's over. This is what they're experiencing now. And so now they're like children who have never been chastised before. They never got spanked. They've never been in trouble. They've never been held accountable. And now accountability season is here. And they can't take it. And so now they are acting like petulant children, teenagers, who are finally being told no for the first time, who are finally having to deal with some consequences, who are finally not having everything go their way, work out in their favor, and they're falling apart, melting down. Snowflakeism is rampant right now. He says, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms. Because right now, this place is the Lady of Kingdoms because she hasn't been touched. Still a virgin, untouched. She's a lady. Yeah, but not for long. I was wroth with my people. And we know he's not talking about Christians. He's talking about the Israelites. I was angry with my people. I have polluted my inheritance. All right. So again, he references Israel as his inheritance. An inheritance is something that belongs to you. And think about this. This is what I want to tell you is for those people who don't believe when we say that Yahweh Shai is the one speaking throughout the Old Testament. Who can give the father an inheritance? No one. An inheritance is something that is given to someone, something that is left to someone from either a family member or someone else who left it to them. But most often it is a family member leaving an inheritance to another family member, namely a child. So this is Yahweh Shai speaking about his own inheritance, us, his people. He polluted his inheritance. Yahweh Shai is the one that did this to us because the Father told him to. The Father calls the shots, Yahweh Shai moves. That's how it works. He says, and giving them into thine hand. So he's letting these people know because they're braggadocious. They think that they were able to enslave us because they were smarter than us and stronger than us and just better than us. But he's letting them know, no, it wasn't anything having to do with you. I did this to them. I polluted my inheritance. I gave them into your hand. You couldn't have done this to them without my help. That's what he's saying because he knows these people. They are proud. They think they are just so much smarter than everybody and us. They say, oh, we were just smarter than you. And, we were, better and stronger than you. And, you guys just lost the war and so forth. All of these things, right? He knows. So again, we're talking about the pride, the proud people. All right. And this is what they think and say in their pride. And so he's addressing their pride. He knows what they think, he knows what they say, he knows how they feel. So he's addressing it. Thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. You see, he references us as the ancient. Why does he call us the ancient? Because we were created before all the other peoples. We came before everyone else in creation. Before we were ever placed in the earth, we were all created in the spirit world. Israelites and every other soul, every other spirit that ever has lived in the earth were created and in the heavens first. We existed in the spiritual realm first. And there is an order to our creation. All right. And we are the ancients of all the people. He says, upon the ancient hast thou very heavily laid thy yoke. That is an accusation. All right. This is the prosecutor accusing the defendant. All right. The wicked, they are on trial. This is right now, we're in the mock trial before the trial. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever. They say that they're never going to be touched. They're never going to lose. The military is so mighty. They're so great. You ever heard them talk? Think about it. Listen, what other people on the earth have the ability to say that they've never been touched, never had war on their soil? And which people have a military so mighty that they are able to boast that they will never be touched. They will never experience war, and they will never experience, I'm sorry, they will never experience war on their own soil, and they will never experience loss in war. They will never lose a war. Which people say that? Which people have the footing to stand on to say that for the moment? There's only one that you can point to. So when you're looking at the evidence, it's trying to tell you something. It's pointing to something. It's pointing to someone. It's pointing to certain people. It's pointing to a certain nation. If you know what you're looking at, if you know how to interpret the evidence, then you'll get it. All right. It's the same as having, a real crime scene. Someone who isn't experienced can look at the same crime scene and not see what the experienced person can see. No different with the scriptures. Not everyone is great at this. Not everyone can be a detective. All right. He says, And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst thou remember the latter end of it. You see, because they didn't remember the latter end of it, because modern day, these people forgot that they are Edom. They forgot that they are the wicked. They forgot that they are the daughter of Babylon. They forgot that they are the enemies of the Israelites and the enemies of the Most High. So they didn't lay to their heart the things that are going to come upon them. They don't think of them. That's what it means. He didn't lay these things to heart, meaning you didn't even think of them. You didn't consider it. They don't. See, that's because it's their pride. Therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. He's letting them know what's coming for them, what their future looks like. They're going to experience loss of children and widowhood, because many men are going to die. A lot of their children are going to die. And we're not just talking about children as in, people underage. We're talking about children as in, I have children, most of which are grown adults, but they're still my children. Doesn't matter how old they are. I'm still a child of my father and my mother, right? When they talk about their children, I'm one of them, despite my age. Okay, so we got to remember and not just get stuck on certain things. This isn't just talking about, all right, minors, as we would say. So this is talking to this group of people, letting them know you guys are going to be losing your children. Widowhood is going to come about you. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. So whatever it is he has in store for them, they're going to receive all of it. They're going to drink the whole cup. And it's going to look different from person to person as well. And that's what's meant for them. That's what it means by it shall come upon thee in their perfection. Whatever is meant for you shall come upon you specifically. But as a nation, this is what you guys have to look forward to. For thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon thee. Thou shalt not know from whence it riseth. They're not going to see it coming. They're going to be blindsided because they have too much pride to have their head on a swivel. They think that they can never be touched. They feel safe. They really feel untouchable. And mischief shall fall upon thee. Thou shalt not be able to put it off. There's nothing they can do about it. They're not going to be able to get away from it. They're not going to be able to stop it or delay it. This is what they think they can do. They're trying hard right now to stop prophecy. The higher ups, they know what's coming. They know who they are. The regular Joe Schmo Blow don't know. Oh, but their fathers and mothers know. All right, he says, stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. He's telling them, stand 10 toes down on what you believe. No, don't try to change up. Keep that same energy. All right, and let's see if what you believe in is going to be true or not. Let's see if you are able to get out of what I have predestined you to. All right, from the Most High standpoint, of course. Thou art wearied in the multitude of thy counsels. They are brought to exhaustion in the multitude of their counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. He's clowning them. He's clowning them. He's telling them, all right, now let all of these things that you trust in, save you from me. All right. Go ahead. Yeah. go ahead and rely on astrologers and tarot card readings and psychics and you know what I'm saying, and your horoscope, all of that stuff. Yeah, yeah, and stargazers. Why does he say stargazers? Because he has written his plan in the skies, and the wicked knows they know his plan is written in the skies, and that the heavens declare his handiwork, and they're expecting him to come at some point. That's the reason why they started the Space Force. So they're stargazers. They're watching the skies for the signs of his coming, for the signs of when he's shifting from phase to phase. He said, "Okay, you're trying to look out, keep a lookout, all right, so to speak." That's what the stargazers are doing. They're like the watchmen. They're the lookout team. Let's see if they can save you. Behold, they shall be as stubble, right? The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. Remember, he says that we, his people, we're going to be like fire and a flame, and they will be like stubble. So this is telling you, remember when it spoke about Edom, all right, being like stubble, all right, and Judah and Israel being like a fire and a flame? This is how you read the scriptures. This is the evidence showing you who the daughter of Babylon is. It's Edom. And if you're following, you know who Edom is in the world. Follow the clues. All right. They shall not be able to deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarter. None shall save thee. There's going to be no rescue, no salvation for these people. They hope for salvation, they hope for rescue, but they won't find any. All right? They won't find any. It will elude them. All right? They really hope that they can get out of prophecy, that they can make prophecy not happen. That's the reason why they took the Most High's his statement as a challenge when he says, "Now, if the ordinances of the sun and the moon and the stars and all of these things can cease from before me, then will I forsake Israel and cast them off from before me as a people. They will no longer be my people." So they're like, "Oh, okay, bet." You see, how wicked do you have to be to try to um to force the Most High to keep his word when you know that he was giving you an impossible task, that it was not possible? But they think they can outsmart him. Again, how wicked do you have to be to think that you can outsmart the Most High? This is pure madness. This is the mind of these people. All right, Jeremiah 50, prophecy against Babylon. The word that the Lord spake against Babylon and against the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. All right, so we know it's talking about here. Even though he's saying Babylon and he's saying the land of the Chaldeans, all right, he's still talking about this place and these people. All right, so declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard. Publish and conceal not. Don't hide it. Say Babylon is taken. Baal is confounded. Merodach is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. And now, see, if you know about this place, you for sure know this is Babylon when you know what these people worship. They worship Merodach in the form of that owl, right? Y'all know the owl I'm talking about. I ain't gonna go too much further into that for the sake of time. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. And see, this was also the the other benefit of them turning the world upside down and really controlling the way that we see the world. Because right now, because of the indoctrination system of schooling, it's hard to convince someone that the world isn't as they believe it to be. You can't convince them. They've been thoroughly indoctrinated. It's impossible. So when we think about this, it's hard to really put it in perspective because it's talking about a nation from the north coming against her. So you're like, from the north, if this is Babylon, then to the north of us is Canada, right? But see, you don't that goes to show you don't understand the true geography of the earth and what it looks like. All right. Europe is north of us. All right. Europe is north of us, contrary to what many understand and believe. All right. Eurasia, all of that, it's north of us. Okay. For out of the north there cometh up a nation against her, which shall make her land desolate, and none shall dwell therein. They shall remove, they shall depart, both man and beast. In those days and in that time, saith the Lord, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, going and weeping. They shall go and seek Yahweh their God. They shall ask the way to Zion with their faces thitherward, saying, Come, and let's join ourselves to the Lord in a perpetual covenant that shall not be forgotten. All right, this is a prophecy that coincides with the prophecy that says the day's going to come when he would make a new covenant with the house of Judah and with the house of Israel. So when we teach that the new covenant is about us and the everlasting covenant is about Israel and not just about whosoever of the nations believe in Jesus, they scoff at it and they say that we're the hate group and the cult group and that we don't really understand the scriptures when it's them that really don't understand. They don't understand prophecy and they don't believe in prophecy. Those who do understand it, they don't believe in it. They twist and mangle it to fit their agenda. So they'll just skip past all of these scriptures where the Most High talks about him making a perpetual covenant with Israel that shall not be forgotten. He says, My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. Our leadership, right? The Christian pastors and so forth, those who were supposed to be spiritual leaders, they led us astray. They sold us out. They teamed up with the enemy. They took the bag, right? Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains, caused us to go astray. Leading us into Christianity was causing us to go astray. What about the ones who took us into Islam? Caused us to go astray. What about the ones who sent us into Buddhism? Caused us to go astray. What about the ones who say there is no God and y'all believe in the sky daddy? Y'all some dumbasses. And so they brought you into atheism. Led you astray. And for that, all of those people, they're going to die. They are going to be killed. Everyone who did that, all of these Christian pastors, they're going to die because they have served as enemies of Yahweh, enemies of his people, and workers and agents for Satan. They chose. All right. He says they have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgotten their resting place. So again, we understand that in the legend and the key on this map, the scriptural map, tells us that mountains are great, powerful, mighty nations and governments. Hills are small ones, smaller ones, right? Less powerful or no power at all. So he's saying that we have gone from mountain, mighty, great, to hill, small, insignificant. All right. They they have forgotten their resting place. We forgot about our land and we forgot about Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. That's our resting place. So we have been wandering through the earth with no rest, like vagabonds Who were meant to be the vagabonds? Cain's seed, right? Absolutely. And Cain's seed ties into the seed of Edom because Edom or Esau is Cain regenerated. All right. Cain came back into the earth again as Esau. And so his bloodline was cursed. All that found them have devoured them, talking about us. And their adversary said, we offend not, because they have sinned against the Lord. All right. See, this is how they justify slavery and everything that they did unto us, saying, well, hey, they offended God. So, he gave us the right and the decree to go enslave them and to afflict them sore. I mean, they're not wrong about that. But the beautiful part about that is that, you can be right and wrong at the same time, because the Most High, he can do whatever the hell he want to do, right? What is his habit? He'll use nations to come against us, enslave us, to afflict us. And then what does he do after that? He punishes that nation. He uses them and then he punishes them for doing what he used them to do. Right? That's what he does. So these people who tried to use this as a way to get out of it, see, they showed their ignorance when they should have been terrified. But what did the scripture say? That they don't even remember or consider their latter end. They don't remember his pattern. Even children learn how to read patterns. Star, rock, star, star, rock. What comes next? Right? They know what comes next. So why aren't grown adults able to read patterns? Lack of wisdom and spiritual blindness. We know why. That was a rhetorical question. I wasn't really asking. All right. They say we offend not because they have sinned against Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai, the habitation of justice, even the Most High Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Listen to this. The hope of their fathers. Why do they say that? Because they know that he is not the God of everybody, that he is not everyone's hope, that he is the hope for Israel. It says, remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the he-goats before the flocks. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. Where are they coming from? The north country. This is the reason why there is so much stink being made over that region and the desire to control nuclear capabilities and all of that. But what did the scriptures also say? It says that the Most High would cause Babylon's friends to turn against her, right? Think about it. What region do we keep pointing to? All right. That means the European nations are going to turn against the United States of America. All right. Even the Asian nations that they're friends with, even the African nations that they're friends with, they're going to all turn against her. All right. It says, an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her, battle array. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All right, what are these arrows? Symbolic, right? The legend, the key to the map, so to speak, tells us that the arrows are missiles. All right, they're just described as arrows because the word missile didn't exist back then when this was written. So these are missiles and nuclear warfare, nuclear capabilities, all right, on display. None shall return in vain, meaning they're all going to hit their mark. When they start, it's going to be a fearful thing because there's going to be nothing they can do about it. They're not going to be able to stop it. All right, they're not going to be able to make them turn back around and go back from whence they came. Nah, they're going to get here and they're going to do the damage that they're intended to do. All right, but the elect, we aren't going to be here when this happens. See, we're taken out of here before this happens. That's why it's important to get your ass inside of the spiritual ark right now. Don't be waiting because it's going to be too late. He already warned us that the time is going to come once he shows up. If you are not in the ark, if you're not under his covering, if you have not been getting under his covering the whole time, he's not going to allow you to all of a sudden try to run under his covering when he gets here. No, no, he wants the people who believed in him before he got here. He doesn't want the people who, once they see them, oh, okay, now I believe in you. Now, he doesn't want that kind of love. All right. It says, because ye were glad. Right. Did I move too fast? I think I moved too fast. And Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of mine heritage. See, so he just explained to them why he's going to do this to them. Because they were destroyers of his heritage. What is his heritage, everybody? The Israelites. Absolutely. Because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as bulls. You see, they're rich. That's what grown fat means. They got rich. How did they get rich? Off slavery, off us. They're going to pay for it. Yes, he allowed it to happen, but he let it happen so they can be worthy of the punishment that he had designed for them. It says, your mother shall be sore confounded. Their motherland shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations, meaning the ass, the back, the bottom of the nations, shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. And remember, these people are called they are called the least of the flock, right? They are the hindermost of the nations. They are the ones who are supposed to be all the way at the bottom. Remember, the hierarchy of the Most High has been flipped upside down. We're supposed to be the top. We are the people on the bottom of society. The people ruling society right now, they were the ones meant to be on the absolute bottom. So it's all topsy-turvy, and he's going to turn it right side up. Because of the wrath. See, I think I'm moving too fast again. And shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. No, I was up to speed. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Now, everyone believes that ancient Babylon is modern Iraq. But isn't modern Iraq inhabited? Is it wholly desolate? Does everyone that goeth by it, are they astonished? Do they hiss at her plagues? No. So this is not talking about ancient Babylon. This is talking about a newer, modern Babylon, the daughter of Babylon. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, all you that got missiles and nukes, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, let loose, give her everything you got, for she hath sinned against Yahweh. Shout against her round about. She hath given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. All right, she hath given her hand. What does that mean? They're giving the Most High the middle finger. All right, they're flipping him off. All right, they're daring him to do what he said he was going to do. See, this is why they spent more money on their military than they do to take care of their people, because they've always known this time was coming. They've been trying to prepare for war with the Most High all this time. That's what it's all about. What good is putting all of this money and resources into a nation that you're going to lose? See, that was their mindset. We might as well put all of our money into building up a military so that we can try not to lose it. That's the route they took. For it is the vengeance of the Lord. All right? That's why they're going to be thrown down. Their foundations are fallen. Their walls are thrown down because of his vengeance. But yet, what do they love to say? God bless America. No, he won't. And no, he doesn't. All right? He says, take vengeance upon her. As she hath done, do unto her. Because the United States of America has been the bullies of the earth, punking everybody, taking their lunch money. And he's going to allow everyone to get their lick back, so to speak. He's going to hold Babylon and say, hit her, fire on her. This is what's going to happen. Cut off the sower from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword shall they turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. Israel is a scattered sheep. The lions have driven him away. All right. So let's see. For time's sake, I want to skip past some of this because we got a lot to read, because I want to read all of or pretty much all of Jeremiah 51 as well with you. We're not going to read all of it. All right. I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm going to skip past some stuff. In those days, verse 20, and in that time, saith the Lord, the iniquity of Israel shall be sought for. By who? By our enemies, and there shall be none. See, they're going to be looking for ways to accuse us, to make us look bad. All right, to have us in sin and in folly so that the Most High can punish us, because they know him. They know that if we're messing up, then he has to punish. He has to punish us. All right. So they try to keep us messing up so that he can keep punishing us, because as long as we're being punished, we're not being raised up and given the seat of authority, which means they get to hold on to the seat of authority a little longer. This is why everything they do is about keeping us in a degenerate state, because they need us in a degenerate state in order for them to remain in their position. It is the seesaw effect, right? They want to remain up, so they need us to be down. They can't be up while we're up. All right. And they know that we can't be up while they're up. We can't be up as long as we're doing things that's weighing us down. That's why he says, in that time there shall be none in the sins of Judah, and they shall not be found. Listen, for I will pardon them whom I reserve, the remnant. He's going to reserve the remnant of Israel. He says he's going to pardon us, excuse our iniquities. He's going to cover it up, wash us clean. All right. See, that's those of us who are seeking him right now. We love him, but we're not perfect. But we love him, and we're building a relationship with him. All right. So he's given us a clean slate. Verse 22, a sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How has Babylon become a desolation among the nations? All right, think about it. All right, just imagine right now. Okay, you're looking for these people. You're trying to identify Babylon. He calls them the hammer of the whole earth. What is he saying? They're the people that beat everyone else into pieces. They are the people used to beat other people, to hammer other people. They don't get hammered on. They do the hammering. They are the blunt object. Who is that? See, it's not hard to find them when you know what to look for. You understand? So we're going through these clues, right? And we're saying, oh, wait a minute, a hammer of the whole earth? Wait a minute, that can only be one nation of people who are the hammer of the whole earth, who are going to be brought down and become desolate, become a desolation among the nations. Listen what he says. He says, I have laid a snare for thee, meaning a trap. You see, allowing everyone to forget that we are the Israelites, that was a trap. Because if they knew that we were the Israelites and they believe in the scriptures, the smart ones would have done right by us. They would have loved on us and not have persecuted and enslaved us. But because he erased the memory of us from people, it allowed people to just be who they were. Now, all of the people of the other nations who are just good people, you see, they didn't need to know that we were Israelites in order to just be good people to us. They were just good people themselves. And so they're going to be rewarded just for their nature of just being good people, cause them to be good people to his people. You see? He says, I laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, meaning destroyed, killed. O Babylon, and thou was not aware. You see, they don't have any idea what's coming for them because they don't know they're Babylon. They don't know that we're Israel. They don't know. All right. He says, thou art found and also caught because thou hast striven against the Lord. How did they strive against him? By striving against his people. What did Yahushua say? If you have done it unto one of the least of these, my brethren, you have also did it to me. The Lord hath opened his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. His armory, yes, everything in the earth is at his disposal, is by his control. All the technology that these people got that they used in order to build missiles and nukes and all of these different weapons that they built, he gave them the technology. He gave them the wisdom to do it. And he is the one that's in control of how it gets used. Whenever anything happens, it's him that's behind it. So he had these people build these weapons for his use. They thought they did it for themselves. See, foolish and prideful. He's opened up his armory and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. Nuclear warfare is going down. For this is the work of the Lord, Yahweh of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans. All right. Let's go to, let's come down a little bit more. Verse 28, the voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple. What is his temple? The 144,000, the elect, his people. We are his temple. All of these things that we're reading about, this is all his vengeance for what has happened to us. It is the vengeance of his temple. And it's called the vengeance of his temple because we're going to take part in the vengeance. He's going to give us power, spiritual power, like superheroes. And he's going to use us in order to get revenge on our enemies. All right. Call together the archers against Babylon. All right. The archers, everyone who has missiles, all ye that bend the bow, camp against it round about. Let none thereof escape. Right. Talking about the citizens. Recompense her, repay her according to her work. Everyone is about to get an opportunity to throw stones at the bully. According to all that she hath done, do unto her. For she hath been proud against the Lord, against the Holy One of Israel. Therefore shall her young men fall in the streets, and all her men of war shall be cut off in that day, saith the Lord. Remember the part when we read that, their children are going to die and widowhood is going to come upon these people because their men are going to be killed in great number. Those who don't die are going to be preserved for slavery. That's what's going down. Behold, I am against thee. Listen to what he says. O thou most proud. They aren't the only proud, but they are the most proud, as they are also the most wicked. O thou most proud, saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, for thy day is come, the time that I will visit thee. You don't want to hear that statement. When he says visit, it's not a nice thing. It's not a friendly little visit. He ain't coming to chat. All right, he ain't coming to pat you on the back. When he says he's going to visit you, he's saying he's coming to see you about what you did to his children. That's what this is about. And the most proud shall stumble and fall. Who's going to stumble and fall? The most proud, Edom, the daughter of Babylon. and none shall raise them up. There's going to be no help for them. They're never going to be raised up out of the state he lowers them to. They're never going to get back to the status that they've reached in the earth ever again. They're going to go back to the basement. They're going back to the bottom of all the other nations. He says, and I will kindle a fire in his cities, and it shall devour all round about him. All right, so let's go to Jeremiah 51. Babylon judged, why? For sins against Israel. So what is these prophecies against Babylon all about? Their sins against Israel. Why is he coming to kill them? Because of their sins against Israel. What is he coming to avenge? Their sins against Israel. So why do the Christians keep trying to make themselves the focal point of the Bible, the focal point of the book, the focal point of the return of Yahweh Shai? They keep acting like his return is all about them. That's not what the scriptures say. Verse 1, thus saith Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, behold, I will raise up against Babylon. I will raise up. Like, don't make me get out of my seat. That's what you're on right now, man. Y'all gonna make me get out of my seat. If I have to get out of my seat, it's gonna be trouble. All right. I will raise up against Babylon and against them that dwell in the midst, the citizens. All right. And all the nations who love Babylon. All right. He says, that dwell in the midst of them that rise up against me, a destroying wind, and will send unto Babylon fanners that shall fan her, and shall empty her land. And in the day of trouble, they shall be against her round about. Against him that bendeth, let the archer bend his bow. And against him that lifteth himself up in his brigandine, and spare ye not her young men. You hear all the same talk. Destroy ye utterly all her hosts. This is a military assault where he's going to destroy their military. He's going to take away their might, what they trust in. Remember how he said what he was going to do to the daughters of Zion, his own daughters, that he was going to destroy their beauty, take their beauty away, right? In order to humble them, to make them act right, he would have to take away their beauty. In order to make these people act right, he's going to have to destroy their military. He's going to have to take away their power. Thus the slain shall fall in the land of the Chaldeans, and they that are thrust through in her streets. For Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God. Wait a minute. But the Christians said, doesn't matter what the Christians said. Doesn't matter what the Christians say. Israel hath not been forsaken, nor Judah of his God. Why does it say this? As if Judah and Israel are two different groups, because they are. The Judahs who y'all call the Jews in the New Testament. Israel, that's the ones who were called the Gentiles, who you Christians keep trying to act like, didn't exist, and they weren't the ones receiving the promises of and the teachings of the kingdom. Oh no, but it was, because they weren't forsaken. All right. So he never says that he's going to throw away Israel and gather to himself a new people. He says that he will make a new covenant with Israel and Judah. And he's a man of his word. All right. They have not been forsaken, though their land was filled with sin against the Holy One of Israel. So he's saying, even though our land was filled with sin, we have not been utterly forsaken. Again, contrary to Christian doctrine. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. This is what we're doing now. When he says flee out of the midst, he's not saying we got to get up and relocate. He's saying to depart from her. Stop living like these people. All right? Stop worshiping Jebus. Stop doing the things that these people do that's pissing me off, our Father is saying. Separate from them in your ways, in your character, in the way that you live. Don't live like the heathen. I'm going to destroy the heathen for the way that they live. You're going to force me to destroy you too, because I can't be a hypocrite. I got to be fair, just, and balanced. Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand. We're coming to another clue. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, a mighty nation, a prosperous nation that made all the earth drunken. What does it mean? Made all the earth drunken. They influenced the whole earth. All the other nations were greatly influenced by this nation. All right. They bought in to what Babylon was selling. They learned from Babylon. They took on Babylon's ways, worshiped Babylon's gods, used Babylon's money, Babylon's dollar, relied on Babylon, believed in Babylon, trusted in Babylon, was bamboozled and hoodwinked and ran astray by Babylon. All right. The nations have drunken of her wine, of her doctrines, of her teachings. Therefore, the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her. Take balm for her pain, if so be that she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go everyone into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. This is what's going to happen. This place is going to get so thoroughly spanked that people are going to start retreating and going back to their own lands, going back to their homelands. The Lord hath brought forth our righteousness, Yahweh Shai. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, our God. Make bright the arrows. Woo, set them on fire. Torch, all right? Light them up. Gather the shields. The Lord hath raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes. All right, and it is understood and believed that this is Iran. And because of this prophecy, that Iran would be a major nation used against Babylon, that they would make bright their arrows, their missiles. All right. This is why these people are working so hard over there in the quote unquote Middle East against Iran to stop them from having nuclear capabilities and missile technology and missile capabilities, because they're trying to stop prophecy. All right. But they can't. If Iran, if they are the Medes, there is nothing these people are going to be able to do about it. But it's also possible that we could have just all been led to believe that Iran, that they are the Medes, and the real Medes, they got missiles and nuclear capabilities, and we just don't know who the hell that they are. We don't know that they are the Medes. And so our enemies, they don't know that they're the Medes either, so they can't do anything to stop them, to stop prophecy. The Most High ain't gonna let nobody stop prophecy. All right, it says, for his device, his plans, is against Babylon, to destroy it. But God bless America, to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord, the vengeance of his temple. All right. And so, just pardon me, I'm reading, I'm skimming real quick, because I really don't want this to be as long as it possibly could be. Because it's one thing to make the lesson and say, yeah, I'm going to read this. But then when you factor in all my commentary, right, this thing ends up being way, way longer than necessary. All right. So pardon me. Mm, let's just start from verse 17. It says, every man is brutish by his knowledge. Every founder is confounded by the graven image, meaning the people who invented, these idols and these graven images. For his molten image is falsehood, and there is no breath in them. They are vanity, the work of errors. In the time of their visitation, they shall perish. The portion of Jacob is not like them, meaning the God of Jacob is not like these idols, these graven images, because he's real. He's a real God. He's almighty, all powerful. He is not like the gods of these other nations. All right. For he Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, is the former of all things. I know there are some Israelites who like to teach that this is Israel, that Israel is the former of all things, but that's just plain ignorant. All right, former of all things meaning you came first. You mean to tell me we came before Yahushai? Negative. You mean to tell me that we came before our Father? Negative. So we can't be the former of all things, can we? Nope. And context matters. He just finished talking about the graven images and the idols and the false gods of the other nations. And now he's comparing himself to them, saying the portion of Jacob, Jacob's portion, Jacob's God, Jacob's inheritance. We inherited the real God. They inherited vanity. Our portion is not like the other nations. For he, Yahweh, is the former of all things. Listen, and Israel is the rod of his inheritance. His who? Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Listen, now listen to this part. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is his name. So it's almost unbelievable that they can mess this up. Almost unbelievable. But I know the scriptures. I understand how wisdom works, and people are just kept in the dark about certain things. It just wasn't given to them to understand. Thou art my battle axe and weapons of war. For with thee will I break in pieces the nations, and with thee will I destroy kingdoms. And with thee will I break in pieces the horse and his rider, and with thee will I break in pieces the chariot and his rider. With thee also will I break in pieces man and woman. And with thee will I break in pieces old and young. And with thee will I break in pieces the young man and the maid. I will also break in pieces with thee the shepherd and his flock. When they say the shepherd and his flock, it's talking about the spiritual leaders and their followers. And with thee will I break in pieces the husbandman and his yoke of oxen. And with thee will I break in pieces captains and rulers. As you can see, the Israelites are going to play a role in the destruction of Babylon. All right. But what else is there? Remember, we're going through the clue cluster. Okay. The clue cluster. What you're seeing here is the story, right? This is what I want to point out with this is that these people, Babylon is being singled out for a reason. Think about it. If you were creating a movie, and this is the way most movies are done, right? Even video games and other things, what is there? There are tiers to the battle. There are tiers to the villains. All right. There are levels. We call them boss levels, right? And then you have what's called what? The final boss. And the final boss is bigger, badder, and harder than all the other levels and the bosses and so forth that you encounter before you get to it, right? So we know the end time is the end of the current age and that there is going to be a big end time war and that the Most High is coming to wage war. Yahweh Shai is coming to wage war. Who is he coming to wage war with in the end times? Other than the mightiest, strongest nation in the earth. Who is it? Who did the Most High write into his story to be the biggest and most powerful nation with the mightiest nation and the mightiest military in the earth to square off against him when he comes back at the end of the story? Who is it? The United States of America. But they won't be going down alone. Okay? Won't be going down alone. He says, I will render unto Babylon and to all the inhabitants of Chaldea all their evil that they have done in Zion in your sight, saith the Lord. He says, behold, I am against thee, O destroying mountain. He's calling Babylon, the United States of America, a destroying mountain, a destructive and destroying mighty nation, which destroyeth all the earth. Another clue in the clue cluster. All right, they are a destroying mountain, meaning a major government, a major superpower in the earth, mighty power, a mighty nation. All right. And a destroying mountain. So they destroy. What nation is responsible for destroying the earth? I'm talking about land, sea, and air, people and animals all alike. Destroy the air, destroy the sea, destroy the earth, destroying animals in the land, the animals, the fowls of the air, and all the people on it. Which people have been responsible for the greatest amount of destruction of this earth? Follow the clue cluster. All right. And I will stretch out mine hand. All right. He says, which destroyeth all the earth. Right. I will stretch out my hand upon thee and roll thee down from the rocks and will make thee a burnt mountain, a destroyed mountain, a destroyed government. All right. All right. So that's all we need to get from here. All right. I could keep going, but really, that's all that we really need to get from here. Let me see. I'm just taking a peek just to make sure that I'm not speaking in haste. Uh, let's see. Verse 44, and I will punish Baal in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he hath swallowed up. And the nations, meaning his people, the Most High's people, who were suckered and tricked into believing into in these false gods. He's going to make his people come out from those religions and those philosophies. And the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall, the military shall fall. That's the wall. The wall is a protection, a protective um, device. All right, to separate and keep people out. Right, and to shield the people and protect the people who are within. That's the military. He says, "My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord." All right, unless your heart faint and ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that in another year shall come a rumor and violence in the land, ruler against ruler. Then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord. As Babylon hath caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. All right, this is again another clue that lets you know that those other people over there, those are not Israel. Those are not the Israel of the Most High, because we know that Babylon are the puppets of Israel, the biggest friends of Israel, the biggest defenders and protectors of that Israel, right? They're buddies. Okay, so you know that Israel can't be the Israel of Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai. All right. Okay, so let's go to Revelation 17. The doom of Babylon. All right, the doom of Babylon. And I want you guys to read this and study this for yourselves. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right, those 10 horns are 10 European nations. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. He's describing this place. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Only Israelites can be saints. So this place has to be drunk. They have to be responsible for um, a great slaughter of Israelites, United States of America. All right. Was the place where many Israelites were slain. Okay. That's a part of the clue cluster. This place, okay, it has to be a place where a great many Israelites were slaughtered and still being slaughtered and killed to this day. Okay. And so again, I really think that you guys should read the entirety of Revelation 17 for your own education. All right. Let's go to Revelation 18. Babylon is fallen. This is what's going to happen to this place. And after these things, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. Now, it is my belief, this is just me guesstimating in my own wisdom, that this is talking about all people. Where it says the habitation of devils, talking about people. The hold of every foul spirit is talking about people. And the cage, and what we call demons and so forth. All right. And the cage of every unclean and hateful bird. I think this place is going to turn into a prison for the worst spirits the, that ever lived. The spirits of all the wicked are going to be trapped here. This place is going to become their prison. This is probably going to be that where the lake of fire is going to be. All right. That's why I agree when certain people, say that, because there are scriptures that can support that idea. Okay, but look at the next clue cluster. It says, For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. All nations have drunk of the doctrines and the philosophies of the anger of her fornication, the wrath of her fornication. And the kings of the earth, all right, which just means the rulers, right? The people who rule, whatever they're called, they might not be called kings, they can be called president, governor, mayor, things of that nature, right? And the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her. And the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. Another clue. Another clue. The whole earth is getting rich and eating fat off of Babylon. And I heard another voice from heaven saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. All right. So, wherever this place is, it has to be a place that is the home to a large number of Israelites. All right. A large number of Israelites have to live there in order for this to be true. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and the Most High hath remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her, double according to her works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double. So the Israelites are living in Babylon in great number. They were enslaved, they were persecuted, oppressed, right? And are told to reward her, meaning here, you're going to get your get back. Remember everything we read about the Most High going to use Israel for his vengeance, as instruments of his vengeance. That's what this is talking about. So we are going to take part in rewarding unto this place, to these people, double unto them according to their works. In the cup which she hath filled, fill to her double, meaning what we got from them, give them double what they gave. How much she hath glorified herself and lived deliciously. So much torment and sorrow give her. For she saith in her heart, I sit a queen, and am no widow, and shall see no sorrow. You see, this is the pride of this nation, of the people, okay, who believe that they'll never see any sorrow. They will never be widows, that they will sit a queen untouched. This is what they believe. Who are these people that believe they can never be touched? That their military is so mighty. They just got so much power. They got so much technology and power. They got it like that, that they don't ever got to be worried about anything happening to them. Who is this in the earth? Hmm? All right. So again, follow the clues. Those are clues. These aren't just things that are nice to read. These are clues that are pointing you to who these people are. All you have to do is read the clues and look around. Think, use your head for something other than a hat holder. Okay? And put the clues together. All right? It says, and they cast dust on their heads and cried, weeping and wailing, saying, alas, alas, that great city. And yeah, we may call it a country, but it's called a great city in the Bible. Alas, that great city wherein were made rich all that had ships in the sea by reason of her costliness. For in 1 hour she made desolate. This is the the home of consumerism. All right. The rest of the world, they produce a lot of goods just to sell it in America because we are a consumer nation. So this place makes other nations and other peoples rich. All right. So in times, Babylon is a global, commercial, imperial power. All right. That's drunk with blood, trafficking in souls, intoxicated by sorcery, and then finally burned. Anybody ever seen that show? What was it called? American Gods, I think was the name of it. A lot of people missed what was really being shown in there by the higher ups, right? Who, they hide a lot of the wisdom and the things that they learned from reading a lot of the old books. All right. This place is is a place where many gods, quote unquote, idols were born, were created. America is a lot older than people believe, understand, or give credit. All right. So all of these religions and everything else, and all of these false gods, most of them were birthed in America. They call it a melting pot, but it's also a melting pot of wickedness, a melting pot of false gods as well. A perfect place to destroy. All right. A perfect place to execute judgment, to make a statement to the rest of the world. So we're going to end this one here, and we'll be back for part 3, all right, when we're going to cover Clue Cluster 3. All right. I pray that you guys are keeping up and that you're watching the previous videos in the series, which is only one in this one so far, so that you can continue to build upon your knowledge. Remember, we're detectives. All right. If you miss an episode, so to speak, all right, you're going to miss out on clues that help, build the case. All right. We're getting all of this stuff ready to hand over to the prosecutor so that in court, the prosecutor can use all of this evidence against these people to convict them and get them thrown in that lake of fire. All right. This is what we're doing. All right. And so, again, I pray you guys were edified. All right. Thanks for joining me today. All praise, honor, and glory belongs to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, and our beloved Heavenly King, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. I will see you guys all on the next one, Yahweh willing. Each one, reach one. Shalom.